Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. I'd like to welcome you, dear viewers, to another in the series, In the Light of Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah's peace and blessings be on each and every one of you. Before we begin today's questions, there is a question left over from two segments prior, in which I spoke about the istikhara. One gentleman, Dr. Abu, asking for further clarification on it. And it was raised to me that there's another aspect of istikhara which I didn't touch, which was istikhara for someone else. For example, can a mother make istikhara for a daughter? Or is it allowable to ask a righteous person to make istikhara for us? However, though this is a common practice, as this was mentioned to me, that it's a very common practice that people ask others to make istikhara for them, it in fact goes against the very basic principle of the istikhara itself. If one reads the dua, or the supplication for istikhara, it becomes very clear that no one else can do it for us. Because it is stated in there, you're asking Allah, saying, if this affair is good for me in my religion and the end of my affairs, so how can we ask istikhara for somebody else when we're, in fact, the dua is asking for ourselves? Now, if we change the format of the istikhara, that is the way Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace be upon him, taught us, and we start to say it in use changing the pronouns, etc., it is possible to say it. Make another dua in which we're asking, "Oh Allah, if this affair is good for him or for her in both their religion and the ending of their affairs, their next life, then make it easy for them." Of course, we can change it like that, grammatically. However, the question arises, is this legitimate? Because Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessing be upon him, was very specific in how he told us to perform this supplication. He said that if any one of you has desired a matter, has decided that they wanted to do a particular matter, having a hum for this particular matter, then they should make 2 units of prayer and make this supplication. He didn't say that if anyone has a desire to do this, someone may do for them. No. The way in which he taught this dua, it was taught for the individual to do for themselves. And that is the correct way in which dua al-istikhara should be done. We do it for ourselves. No one can do it for us. If one were to think of it in the way that people mistakenly think of it, that it is like a miraculous or magical formula which will produce for us answers for all of the affairs of our lives, in the sense of dreams showing us what the answer is in this and that, then okay, people may think that it's legitimate for others to make dua al-istikhara for us. However, if we practice it as the Prophet ﷺ taught us, as really a form of putting our trust in Allah and abiding by whatever has been destined for us, then we can only do it for ourselves. Today's question is from Fayaz in Sharjah. He writes, Dr. Bilal Phillips, could you please answer the following question of mine? Is zakah compulsory on a person who has long-term loans to pay back, loans he took to buy a car or a refrigerator or a microwave oven, for example? Can such a person perform Hajj or Umrah prior to paying back his loans? Actually, 2 questions here. one, is zakah compulsory on this person? They've bought something and they're paying it back on term, payments. They have savings in the bank. These savings, a year has passed on them, which have not, and the savings have not been consumed. And the savings are above the minimum limit on which zakah is required. Yes, zakah should be paid. Similarly, a person, because we know a person going to make Hajj or Umrah, particularly Hajj, really, debts should be cleared before going on Hajj. Hajj is an arduous journey. People may die for this journey. So to die leaving debts behind on our families, etc., is of course not like in Islam. We should fulfill our responsibilities. When we fulfill them, then we have cleared ourselves of responsibilities, then we go and we make Hajj. Now, in the case of term payments, where we are paying, we've made the payments for this month, and the next payment is not due for another month, and Hajj is occurring within this period, then during that period no money is owed. The money is owed or becomes payable at the completion of the month. So that person may go to make Hajj having paid the payments which were due on them in the period of the Hajj. The second question we'll be looking at is from Abu Dhabi. Ameena from Abu Dhabi writes, those residents who intend to slaughter an animal during Eid al-Adha, should they abstain from clipping their hair and nails like the muhrim performing Hajj? And can this meat be distributed among both Muslims and non-Muslims? Those who are intending to make Hajj, to make the slaughter, Eid al-Adha, are instructed to refrain from cutting their hair, that's the body hair, head, armpits, private parts, etc., and nails of the fingers and the feet until the time of the slaughter. This is the instruction of Prophet Muhammad. Recommendation. If one didn't do it, it doesn't prevent one from doing the slaughter. And it's not compulsory. This is only a recommendation. And this state, though it is similar to that of the muhrim, one who has consecrated himself or herself by going into the state of ihram for making Hajj or Umrah, though there is a similarity in that the person who is wearing ihram cannot cut hair or nails, the similarity ends here. In the case of the person performing ihram, it is forbidden for them to do so. If they're wearing ihram, it is forbidden. And to do so deliberately breaks an aspect of their state of ihram, which will require them to do some act of compensation